Hello and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, Tema Oil Refinery resumes crude oil processing after years of inactivity. What will be the impact on the energy sector? We're live with the Institute of Energy Securities. Also coming up, Finance Professor Williams Peprah projects inflationary pressures are likely to reduce as the IMF forecasts 4.8% growth for Ghana ending 2025.
For the household, the first thing is inflation pressures are lowered. We've seen Bank of Ghana lowering their monetary policy rate. This is going to lead to a lowering cost of funding for companies.
We have these and more coming up in this bulletin. My name is Winston Taki. Now let's bring you updates from the commodities market. This is Business Live, and now to our first business story. Associate Professor of Finance at Andrews University, Professor Williams Peprah says Ghana could see easing inflationary pressures next year following the International Monetary Fund's projection of a 4.8% end-year growth rate for 2025. Speaking to Joy Business, he noted that the outlook is expected to lower the cost of capital for businesses and boost foreign direct investment.
In September, we've all seen an improved activities in our economy. If you ask me, agricultural sector has improved significantly. Service industry has also improved. And then on the external side, we have also seen a great improvement in activity of gold with the gold bond strategy that Ghana has been on. And then also our cocoa export has improved. So seeing all these activities improving, and it gives rise to the fact that yes, we may have to look at the outlook of the GDP and improving it. Another important factor is that the purchasing power of the Ghanaian has increased or improved with a decrease in inflation rate. So there's a lot of activities in terms of buying and selling, and when these are happening, you will be able to witness that yes, there's a need to revise the growth outlook. I was in Ghana in the first 2 weeks of December, and I saw a lot of activities happening in terms of trade. So I'm not surprised that the growth outlook has been increased to 4.8. So for the household, the first thing is inflation pressures are lowered. We've seen Bank of Ghana lowering their monetary policy rate. This is going to lead to a lowering cost of funding for companies. Companies will be able to. We've seen stability in the forex, which has had an impact on import relief. And then also confidence in the Ghanaian market, which is driving other foreign partners or investors to look at Ghana and say, yes, Ghana is now ready for business. And that is driving these things. So these are going to be the benefits that Ghanaians are going to get when we see all these things happening. And we expect that 2026, should be a positive year if government stays on course with the IMF program.
Now, away from that, the Tema Oil Refinery has officially resumed crude oil refining operations after several years of inactivity. The resumption follows the successful completion of major turnaround maintenance works on the refinery's crude distillation unit, CDU, carried out between August 1st and October 30th. Joining us to discuss the impact of this is senior research and policy analyst at the Institute of Energy Securities, her chair, Derek Emmanuel. It's good to have you here with us on Business Live. Now, how significant is this resumption? Okay, I think we'll get Derek back on the phone, but as you already have been informed, the Tema Oil Refinery is back live in full operation, and certainly its impact will be felt across sectors and impact. Now moving on, tax consultant Francis Timoboy has urged the Ghana Revenue Authority to ensure that they comply and adopt new strategies to ensure they're able to accommodate issuing notice to consumers as part of measures to implement the new VAT law following presidential assent. He believes this step will help minimize disruptions to business while easing adjustments and improving compliance on both sides of the tax authority and consumers.
Most systems will have to go through that testing to ensure that whatever that changes that has been done is calculating the taxes correctly. And we believe that that is the major thing that needs to be done. We experienced this before in August 2018 when we did the decoupling. It took customs about 3 months before they were able to readjust the ICOMs, the one that they used to collect the taxes when you are bringing goods to Ghana. It took them some time. So again, we expect the same thing to happen. And remember, government is very keen with digitalization this time. Even the EVAT system, we are told that they are not fully ready to go live. But with time, like I said, maybe a month should be enough for businesses to start adjusting, and therefore customers who go to such tax points will get the benefit of the reduced taxes in the goods and services that they pay. I think initially they have to be a bit flexible, and we expect that they issue some public notice. Of course, government has passed this law, and the GRA zone is to implement it. So businesses that may have some peculiar challenges, I think GRA should be accommodating. In fact, they've done it before. In the past, anytime they roll it out, they are able to accommodate it. It is not intentional that they deny consumers the price reduction. Some of these things are real, and there are challenges that come with technology. It is not a plug and play. So we plead with consumers that when that happens, we go to some pay point, you don't get the taxes reflected. You just have to exercise a little bit patience for the systems to be adjusted. So GRA, we expect that they issue their guidelines. And then, of course, they may not have the power, or unless Parliament gives them the power to suspend the implementation. We wait to see the notice that they may put in the public domain for taxpayers and consumers as well.
Now, going back to our earlier story on Tema Oil Refinery, joining us is the Senior Research and Policy Analyst at the Institute of Energy Securities, her chair, Derek Emmanuel. It's good to have you with us here on Business Live. Now,
thanks for the opportunity. Good evening.
Great. Firstly, how significant is the resumption of crude oil refining at the Tema Oil Refinery after years of inactivity?
All right. So for years of inactivity, this particular resumption is going to strengthen Ghana's energy security. It's going to reduce the supply risk that we've been experiencing over the past, as well as support the long-term industrial and the economic growth of the country. And so basically, the energy security of Ghana is more enhanced, price stability, and then some cost efficiency is going to be improved upon. The demand for large forex for the importation of refined petroleum products will not be as much as it was, because definitely there will be some foreign exchange savings because the demand is going to reduce for it. And then it also acts as a national strategic asset, because this is the only refinery that we have. And so for it to be able to revive it for years of inactivity, then it means that the country is back on work. And then we just hope that going forward, the issues that we used to experience will not be experienced again. And then the total benefits of Tema Oil Refinery will be felt by all Ghanaians.
Now, Derek, from an energy policy perspective, what does this development mean for Ghana's downstream petroleum sector?
So let me explain that by giving you this scenario. We used to import all refined petroleum products into the country. So what happens is that on a monthly basis, you need some large volumes of dollars to be able to import these refined petroleum products. Now, when you have the supply, you are able to refine these same petroleum products in Ghana. Instead of you looking for large volumes of forex to be able to import these refined petroleum products, you are able to refine them in Ghana. Now, when you refine them in Ghana, you get a lot of byproducts. And so citizens are able to even get work to do, that is employment. Secondly, when it comes to energy security, anytime that there is any form of geopolitical or a world issue regarding the supply of petroleum products, Ghana as a country, we are able to refine on our we are able to define on our local capacity. And with the combination and proper collaboration with boards, that means that strategic national asset reserve that you are looking for the country can be more improved. As over the years, we've not been able to have that benefit, and then we always continue to look for large volumes of forex, about $450 million on a monthly basis, to be able to import refined petroleum products. As it stands right now, with the oil refinery operating at full capacity of about 45,000 barrels per day, what it means is that what you use or what you needed money to be able to import at FED will not be done anymore. You are likely to now refine these petroleum products in the country or Ghana, and then that brings savings in terms of forex. That brings taxes to Ghana. That also reduces the kind of insurance and freight charges that we need to pay. And then as the last part of it is that it brings Ghanaians employment, and that's what the country is looking for.
All right, I want to get from you, can this development translate into lower prices, especially for consumers? And if so, how soon might we see the effect?
All right, so when it comes to the determination of fuel prices, definitely there are three major factors. So we are talking about the international price, we are talking about the taxes and margins, we are talking about the forex. And so any of these factors that has a trigger, it will affect the final price at the various pumps. So let's take, for example, the international price. We import refined petroleum products. So anytime prices goes up on the international market, we are likely to have that impact short at the various pumps in Ghana. And so if now we are not going to import refined petroleum products, and we are able to refine our own petroleum products in Ghana here, then it means that what happens on the international market will not be felt too much here. So even if on the international market prices are supposed to go up, we are likely not to experience the prices going up at the various pumps. Secondly, if on the international market there is so much supply, let's say that supply is now exceeding demand, so there's some surplus, we can now refine our own petroleum products in Ghana, and then both as a strategic reserve stock, we'll be able to store them. And when they're able to store enough petroleum products, what it means is that it's going to translate into lower prices at the various pumps. And so this is the first scenario. The second one is that there is always a demand for forex. And so the foreign exchange that we look for is the dollar. For $450 million, anytime that the demand for forex goes up and it's not being met by its needed supply, it means that the prices for petroleum products are likely to go up. And so for them, so much demand for forex, they are not going to import the refined petroleum product. And what we needed for is just something little to be able to buy the crude and then process it in Ghana. Then it means that the demand for forex is also going to reduce. And when the demand for forex reduces, then it means that the price that we are likely to pay at the various pumps will not be an increase, because the demand for forex has been on a downward trend. And then the price stability will also enhance the stability of price at the various pumps. So these two major factors that initially would have been occasioned by the absence of the oil refinery will now be solved in the short and the medium term.
Interesting. Now, what policy interventions or investment strategies are necessary to maintain operations and avoid future shutdowns?
All right. So the issues that we've got to do with, at first it used to be technical. We've had issues with technical issues. We've had issues about government interferences, the political interferences, because we have to change a lot of management. About 7-8 management MDs of the oil refinery have been changed for the past 8 years. This is the first time that we've had somebody who has taken over for a period of time, and then I've set a target that I want to revive it. And so for us to be able to see this significant milestone turning to the benefit of Ghanaians within this shortest time, about 6-7 months, then it means that Ghana is on the right track. What we needed was leadership. What we needed was somebody with the technical competence. What we needed was somebody with that vision to be able to revive it and then ensure that there's that constant supply of cash flow. When there's constant supply of constant cash flow, and there's that technical efficiency, with that right leadership stability, then it means that tomorrow refinery can be revived, and we've seen it.
All right. Derek, I want to get from you finally before you go. What is the outlook for the petroleum sector in terms of pricing going into just after the festive season, into the first week, second week of January? What should we be expecting, especially at the pumps?
All right, so going to the first week or the first pricing window for January, things should be more positive because now the CD has been stabilized interbank about 11.1 on the international market. Prices have not gone up. So if you've seen the second pricing window of December, prices went down at the various pumps. And so these two major factors on the international market, prices are not too rising. And then at the various pumps, at the various interbank, or let me say, the currency has been more stabilized at 11.1. And so I expect some stability for the first pricing window for January.
Thank you very much, Derek, for speaking with us here on Business Live. Insight on the Tema Oil Refinery and some key developments that are necessary for the sector's development going into the coming year. We have more business update for you right after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Business Live. My name is Winston Taki, and now to more business update. The government recorded a 19% oversubscription of Treasury bills for the fifth week running. That's according to auction results by the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, interest rates went up across the yield curve. The more in this Business Desk report being reported here on Joy News.
The target for the auction was estimated at 3.3 billion Ghana cedis, but the government got 3.95 billion, about 19.69% oversubscription. It, however, accepted 3.89 billion cedis worth of total bids. A little over 61% of the bids came from the 91-day bill. 2.449 billion Ghana cedis was tendered. The uptake was 2.447 billion Ghana cedis. For the 182-day bill, 781.43 million Ghana cedis was tendered. The bids accepted were estimated at 726.43 million Ghana cedis. Also, 726.43 million Ghana cedis was tendered for the 364-day bill. The same amount of the bids were accepted. Meanwhile, interest rates increased across the yield curve. The yield on the 91-day bill went up by a basis point to 11.09%. That of the 182-day bill also jumped to 12.52% from 12.43% the previous week. The yield on the 364-day bill rose by 3 basis points to 12.94%.
The outgoing managing director of ARB Apex Bank PLC, Alex Kwesi-Ewa, says stronger corporate governance and regulatory oversight have driven the improved profitability of Ghana's rural and community banks, with their combined balance sheet crossing 1 billion Ghana cedis in profit as of September 2025. He made a remarks in an interview with Joy Business on the sidelines of the ARB Apex Bank Christmas dinner in Accra. ARB Apex Bank PLC marked its Christmas celebration at the bank's head office in Accra, bringing together management, staff, partners and stakeholders for fellowship and networking. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the event, the outgoing managing director Alex Ewa highlighted the strong performance of rural banks in 2025.
Many of the banks are declaring good profit. They've expanded their balance sheet, and you can see that in fact I can say that the balance sheet of rural banks has expanded so much. December, I think 2021, total balance sheet of rural banks was about 6.7 billion. As we speak, September 2025, we are at about 22 billion. And that is what we are talking about. The same way, December 2021, profitability of the whole industry was about 113 million. As we speak, it's crossed 1 billion. As of September 2025. And so you can understand the industry is making progress, and all due to the fact that we've been implementing policies that are sustainable and making sure that rural banks are operating in very good. It doesn't matter, that this for some years the economy itself, we've gone through so many issues. DDP came, COVID-19, and the after effects of DDP is still with us. But you can see, when you see that the rural banks are still making progress, then it is a testimony to the fundamental strength of the institutions that we're running.
Mr. Ward further shared his expectations for 2026 for the rural bank.
We expect that we'll continue with, the governance improvements are still there. ARB Apex Bank, what we do is that every year we designated some governance, compliance, and then risk governance compliance meetings that we hold with these banks. On top of that, we hold training programs in governance for these banks, and these training programs are expanded to all staff of rural banks, and we expect to continue with these things. And ARB Apex Bank will continue to give support in terms of digital technology, making the platform available to all the banks, and also expanding enrollment so that many Ghanaians will have access to digital banking services and also be part of the rural banking platform. And so we expect that in spite of the challenges, we're going to increase volumes of the business that we do at the rural bank side and also at the ARB Apex Bank, and also our development partners. There's opportunity for us to expand our relationship through which some funding are going to come in to augment the funding sources that we give to the rural bank. So we expect that 2026 is going to be exciting year.
He stressed that addressing elevated non-performing loan ratios through robust credit risk management alongside improved efficiency and profitability is critical to strengthening the financial system and sustaining the sector's contribution to Ghana's economic growth. That's all for business here on Business Live. My name is Winston Taki. We have more business update for you right here on myjoyonline.com. T-bills government records 19% oversubscription, but interest rate keep rising. Interest says BOG's gold purchase losses stem from structural challenges, not politics. So we have more insightful, including the IMF 3-month extension of Ghana's program. So go to our website, myjoyonline.com/business for more insight. Thank you for watching today's edition of Business Live. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.